So I am actually thoroughly confused about this whole situation. So American Horror Story Delicate Part 1 finale just premiered last night, and I just saw it this morning, and I thought it was going to be like the end of the series, I mean the season, but I guess it's not. And because we knew about this being like part 1, part 2, but I didn't know it was going to be the same story in part 2. But because the several articles I was reading beforehand were saying that part 1 is going to be about the book that it's based off of, and then part 2 is going to be about something completely different. I don't think anyone knows what's going on. Obviously the people that worked for the show clearly do, but they're just like not telling us. So I thought there was only going to be 5 episodes for the story that it's based off of, but I don't know. I think everyone's confused. So I was very confused when the episode ended today, just like it was like a filler episode. I thought everything was going to be explained, but I guess there's still to be determined however many episodes left. But anyways, I haven't watched American Horror Story since Hotel. I had gotten into Roanoke, and then I don't know, I just thought Roanoke was like horrible. So I watched like 3 or 4 episodes of Roanoke when that originally came out, and then I just stopped watching because I don't know, I just like didn't care. So I missed all those seasons. After like 3 episodes of Roanoke, I missed all those seasons. I haven't really gotten into it, but when I saw that Delicate was coming out, I was like, wait, this is gonna be really cool. I mainly because I like Emma Roberts, so the fact that she was gonna be the lead role, I was like, okay, perfect. Just because her in Scream Queens was like so good, and obviously her in Coven was amazing. But having her be like the main role, I was like so excited to watch it. And then also that Kim Kardashian was in it. I wanted to see like how good of an asset like Kim would add to the show. So when I saw the show, the first episode, and then I saw that it was based off of a book, I clearly love reading if you watch my channel a lot. But I saw that it was based off of a book called Delicate Condition by Danielle Valentine. That's her alias, but her real name is Danielle Vega. And this is her, because I have the novel right here in front of me. When I saw that it was based off of a book, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to read the book, because I thought the first episode was very good on the show. I loved, okay, and this is what I'm saying for the whole season. I love the lighting, I love the like color palette, I love the aesthetic and the setting and the fashion, and I definitely love Emma Roberts' sac de jour from Saint Laurent's the whole time. She had like a croc gray one in like episode 4, I think, and it was like super beautiful. And I think she has a small, which is the large, or is there one bigger than that? I think there might be one bigger than the small. Yeah, there is a large. I think she might have the large or the small, I don't know, but it looked pretty big. I think she actually might have the small. But anyways, so this is the book that it's based off of. So I saw that and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get it. It's pretty thick. It's like 404 pages, I think, to be exactly, of just story. But this is how the cover looks. I got it in hardcover from Amazon. Sorry, I actually did not get this from Amazon. I got this from Barnes & Noble. I'm surprised Barnes & Noble had it. So that is the cover. And apparently the book is like an updated Rosemary's Baby, or like a modern Rosemary's Baby. I know I still haven't seen or read Rosemary's Baby. I don't know if that's a shocker or not, but I just haven't read that. So I kind of know what it is. Something about her like giving birth to like a demon or something like that. I don't know. Basically like every American Horror Story season, right? So what I thought was super weird about this though was this book was published August 2023, and season 1 episode 1, I mean Delicate episode 1, Jesus, I can't talk. The first episode of the Delicate season aired like September 20th or September 19th, something like that. so weird, because I was like, how is that possible for this book that it's based off of to be released, to be published like a month before the show comes out? So what I'm thinking is, I haven't like researched it, but what I'm thinking is that they had this book already finished, they just didn't publish it, and they already used all the material from the book for the show. So they had them like both come out like at the same time, and maybe to give hype for the book. I think both things gave hype for each other, but I think the book gave hype to the show, and the show being announced gave hype to the book. I think that's how it worked. I don't know if it was like a marketing thing that they were trying to do or whatever, but anyways, what am I saying? I have like no outline for this, so this is just me freeballing this whole video. So I'm probably gonna forget a lot of things to mention that I wanted to mention, but like whatever, I don't know, I just didn't feel like wanting to do an outline or of notes for this. I just felt like it was more cool doing it like raw and whatever just comes to mind. But basically what I want to do with this video is compare and contrast what happened in the book and what happened in the show. So if you don't want any spoilers of the book or the show, do not watch the video like at all, but I'm gonna get into spoilers. So basically I'm just gonna remember, try to remember as much as I can, episode per episode, what's different from the book and what's different from the show. So clearly the part 2 of the show is not gonna come out till like 2024. So I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are gonna lose interest by then. But I think because a lot of people apparently are like bored of the show. I thought the last episode 5, was kind of boring, to be honest. The 4 episodes before that were really good to me, and just this episode, like really nothing happened, to be honest. It was just filler, and for it to be a season 1, for it to be a part 1 finale, it was kind of boring. So you would have thought it would have left us like on a cliffhanger or something like that. Like they should have done that, to be honest, and they did not. But basically, I'm not gonna know. I don't know how the show is gonna end. I thought the show was going to end today, which is why I'm filming this review now, but I guess not. So whatever happens in the show happens in the show. But I'll tell you right now what happens in the book, in case you don't want to read the book, or in case you don't have time to read the book. If you just want like the juicy details, I can give that to you. From what I can remember right now in my head, I wish I should have taken notes, but whatever. Okay, so I remember episode 1, Emma Roberts, I don't know if I'm gonna go off of like, okay, I'm gonna just call her Emma, I don't know, whatever. Emma Roberts' character, Anna, basically is going through like IVF and all this stuff, and then her publicist, Siobhan, which is Kim Kardashian, basically like tell her that she's like nominated for like was it the Golden Globe, or was it like an Oscars? I don't even know what it was, but yeah, because I'm so confused what it was it Golden Globes or Oscars? Because I think it was Golden Globes. I think that's what she won in the first episode, or the second episode she won that. But because the last episode was like Oscars, I don't remember, doesn't even matter at this point. But basically episode 1, what was different from the book is that, once again I'm getting into like huge spoilers. So the character that Meg is, or Cara Delevingne's character, she sticks out like a sore thumb in the show. She's wearing like these oversized red Dior sunglasses, and I forgot the designer for like the red pumps, or like the red chunky shoes that she was wearing. So she sticks out like a sore thumb. She's not incognito at all. In the book, the character that's supposed to be her, Cara Delevingne's character, ends up being Siobhan. That character was supposed to be incognito, or like in disguise, and it was basically Siobhan wearing like a blue baseball hat, to which Anna finds out later in the story that that was Siobhan all along. When she sees Siobhan, I forgot what scene it was, but towards the end, Siobhan wearing a blue baseball cap, and she was like, holy shit, like that's basically my stalker. But in the show they're calling her Ivy, Nurse Ivy, but in the book her name is Meg, and I'm talking about Cara Delevingne's character. The person that was in episode 1 that was in her bed, that was in Anna's bed, that starts off like the show really, ends up being Cora. Cora is like one of the receptionists that works at the clinic that Anna is doing her IVF treatment in with Dr. Hill. Dr. Hill is a woman in the book and Dr. Hill is a man in the show. I don't know why they changed it, but I think they really wanted that actor, I forgot his name, but that actor to be the doctor. And I feel like he's usually the doctor, no? Or he's usually something in the like medical field, or one of those like types of characters in the show usually. So then that ends up being Cora, and Cora is very important to the book. You didn't really think she would be, but so Anna's basically getting stalked and followed all of a sudden now that she's finding out that she's pregnant, which is just like very like weird and coincidental, right, for all this stuff to happen. But it could also be because it's following like in tandem with her, like all of a sudden her character breaking out in the auteur, which is, what is it, French? I think it's French for the author. So like her movie that she's on is like getting very popular, and I think it's been like a couple months since it's premiered, and now it's just like getting very, very popular and mainstream. So she's getting all this fame from it. So basically she has that stalker, and then she has Miss Preacher who like takes a photo of her, and she thinks Miss Preacher's like very weird. We think Miss Preacher's very weird, and like she might be in on whatever is going on. There's definitely several accounts. I forgot what the names of them were, but several accounts online that are like trolling Anna and like bullying her. And to one point, she thinks Miss Preacher's in on it, or she thinks Miss Preacher is the one posting all of this horrible things that they're saying about her online. Turns out in the book that the account was named like #1 crush or something like that. That ended up being someone that like was like a teenager that had nothing to do with anything really, that was just like playing rude jokes on Anna. It hasn't really been explained yet on the show, but in the book also Miss Preacher posts, it's kind of mentioned a little bit on the show, but it's kind of not really talked too much about. But in the book, Miss Preacher is basically like talking about on her social or on her blog. In the book, it's on a Tumblr account, which I love. But on the show, it's like a forum or like a blog post. That basically that there's like this satanic cult going around of these like people. I don't know if it says women or not, but of these people like needing babies from women and blah 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 and all this stuff. So I'm immediately assuming that this is about to end up being about a satanic cult that needs babies for whatever the hell, who knows, right? So then what happens in the show? What did not happen in the book was that Shaban's character gave Anna like these vitamin B vials of like liquid. I thought that was very weird that she would give her that, and I thought that's what was making her go crazy. But let me like one thing straight. Shaban is very rarely mentioned in the book, but she is mentioned in the book. She's very rarely mentioned in the book, but in the book she's Shaban's best friend and not her publicist. Her publicist in the book is someone named Emily, who is never mentioned at all in the show. It's like a character that's non-existent. Another character in the show that's non-existent in the book is Sonia. Sonia's character, I have no idea what she has to do with anything, but apparently she's a new character that they didn't even replace anyone with. But another character that's not in the book is the house manager. In the book, they only have housekeepers, but they don't have like a house manager. And she seems to be on it. She might be like a witch too. Sonia, I don't know what's up with Sonia. She's just like freaky and creepy in the show, to be honest. But basically, Emily is the one that's suspected to be the one that's doing all of this to Anna, just because it's mentioned that Anna has given Emily, which is her publicist, access to her calendar because it's just like better, and like Anna feels like she has a lot going on, and so she didn't want to have to do like extra work, so the publicist is just doing it for her. Turns out, I know I'm like skipping back and forth, but like whatever. Turns out that Emily had nothing to do with this at all, and Anna ended up firing her in the end because she thought Emily was the one at least involved in some of this, just because she had access to her password and everything in the calendar. Also, what does not happen in the book that does happen a lot in the show, or at least in the first 4 episodes, was the huge missing time, which is very interesting because that would have been really cool to see in the book, or to have read in the book, but that did not happen in the book, unfortunately. I thought it was really cool that the show did implement that. It's just like as a way to show that Anna's like completely gone crazy and like gone completely off the deep end, hallucinating and like all this stuff. And then basically, so I don't know, I'm confused if it's Golden Globes or Oscars. In the book, somebody else wins the award for one of those, but in the show, Anna wins for like the Golden Globes or Oscars, whichever one it is, in the show, and she starts like puking, and I thought like a hand was coming out of her mouth. Like I swear it was. I felt like a hand was coming out of her mouth when in episode 2 she was like puking blood all over the stage. That was like extreme horror. Like that was very, very gross. So I thought that was gonna be a hallucination, but apparently it was not. But what was a hallucination was her killing that crazy fan that was like grabbing her baby, which was very, very weird, very invasive and annoying. I thought that was crazy. I thought that lady might have been in on it and might have been one of the stalkers. But I'm surprised that Anna, that was not in the book either at all. I'm surprised Anna was reacting like that to her. But later on in like episode 4, I think, when she's trying to get a baby monitor, like a baby heart monitor or whatever, at that pharmacy place, I'm surprised that when that worker touched her stomach and felt the baby kick, that she didn't react that same way to that person. Maybe because they didn't give off the same energy, but like still, like why are you letting people touch your baby? That is very weird. I mean, your family's fine, I guess, if you want, but like for like a weird random stranger that works at a pharmacy, for them to just randomly be okay with wanting to touch your baby is really weird, especially when everything that she's going through. I would be suspicious of everybody. What also did not happen in the book was the Ashleys, like the Ashleys characters. We don't know if they're clearly are like witches, but we don't know if they're I heard that apparently one of them might be like a time traveler from like the Apocalypse season. I don't know anything about those seasons because I didn't watch it. But that's like a rumor, so I don't know if that's true. That's not in the book at all. The Ashleys, or the women in black, the characters that are like completely cloaked. So that's definitely more for the show and like the horror aspect of the show. What's also not in the book at all was the scene that when Anna's in the basement and she's like hearing like chanting or like ritual chanting through this like small door. It was like, oh god, when I was watching that I was like, oh my gosh, is this gonna get like crazier, like in a really crazy way? Like, is she about to go to like another dimension or like another universe? It was giving very much that. I thought we were going to go into like Coraline territory, because that door was very small, and when she was going through it, that connected to like this weird castle like underground thing. I thought we were going into like Coraline territory and we were going to do like other worlds vibes, but we did not do that. So I don't know if she was hallucinating that whole thing or what that was. But I want to tell something that just came up to me about the dolls. So we think the dolls, I thought the season was very like Pretty Little Liars vibes with like the dolls and then like all these weird things going on. Also the thing with the mirror, like writing in the mirror, like don't do it, Anna, that was never in the book at all either. The mirror breaking was not in there at all. And then you clearly know that you clearly know that Anna is not hallucinating when you see Shaban being aware of the glass in the mirror breaking as well, unless her subconscious mind like hallucinated it, that Shaban was reacting to that as well. I don't know, that could have been the case too, but I don't know. What the dolls mean in the book, it was basically, let me just get to the huge spoiler. So the very end reveals that Dex dies in the car crash as he's supposed to be taking Anna to the hospital, as she's like basically in labor. I don't know, I was so confused about to what happened, because like I don't know if like Anna really like bit his fingers off that his wedding ring was on, because he was cheating with Cora, and Cora was basically sending her cookies. I think it was Cora was basically sending her cookies that were laced with like these seeds and like these herbs that are shown in the vignettes in the book of like past people getting pregnant and having the same like kind of story with her. Basically, Anna thinks she's giving birth to like a monster, like a demon, and apparently those are all hallucinations and that they're not actually what she's birthing. These herbs and these cookies were supposed to help with the hallucinations. So basically, I know, oh my god, I'm like so over the place. I am so sorry, I am like all over the place. But basically, there was a phone call in the book that when she has a miscarriage, turns out that Meg in the book, which is Cara Delevingne's character, did not cause the miscarriage, but she is the one that is like a what do they call it, ultrasound tech. Meg was the ultrasound tech that was part of the coven. So there's a coven of witches that is going on in this book, and it's clearly going on in the show as well. But she didn't cause the miscarriage, at least in the book. She just noticed that there was a miscarriage, and then later on Shaban in the book asked Anna, like, even if the devil what did she say, like, even if the devil, like, would you even, like, what are you willing to do to have your baby back, basically. She was like, how desperate are you, blah blah blah, like, will you do anything, like even make a deal with the devil or something like that. And Anna was like, yes, like, give me my baby back, like, give me my baby back. So basically Shaban created a spell that took up a lot of energy, and Shaban in the book has like cancer, and like the cancer came back, I think, after doing the magical spell or something. But basically the dolls were for, whose phone is that? Basically the dolls were for to hold the energy of the pain that Anna was experiencing in certain centers. So it wasn't voodoo. Well, actually I think it is voodoo. Yeah, I would actually say that it is voodoo. You're not causing the pain, but you're absorbing. The dolls are meant to be the ones absorbing the pain in those locations. So when there was like the hair falling out, like the doll with the hair falling out, or like the doll with the pins, or the doll with the X on her, those are supposed to be anchor points, I guess, for like the energy to be absorbed from Anna, so the pain can be taken to the dolls that are inanimate, apparently inanimate, and so the dolls would experience the pain even though they're not conscious, as far as we know. And then also like I thought this whole time it was like an acne thing that she had on her chin. I thought that was very weird. Her skin peeling on the show was never in the book. Her hair coming off almost like every episode happened literally once in the book, so that was not very like important in the book. But it's very important in the show. But that mark that she ends up finding out that mark in the book, it's a mark of a hand under somewhere like in your chin. Basically it's like the mark of the coven that you're one of the witches. And so like Shaban has it, and then now she's getting it. And basically Shaban was like dying, and she was basically trying to be reincarnated. So she told Anna, like, if you, in the book, obviously, she was like, if you let me transfer my consciousness into your baby will be fine. Your baby will be okay. But if you let me die, and I don't know what she believes about the afterlife, but if you let me die, then you're probably going to have a lot of complications with your new baby due to the spell. So I don't know if it's because she's the one that casted the spell that everything would go good for Anna, or if she's just like lying to her. I have no idea, because I don't know what kind of magic they were using. But apparently she finds out towards the end that they are not devil worshippers. They are not a satanic cult. They are just witches that use herbs and healing and fertility spells to ease the pain that doctors were not able to do back in the day. So apparently, like, nowadays doctors are taking their, I guess, their opportunities that the witches had to help pregnant women. That's why there's a lot of like flashbacks to like the 1500s, all these women having I guess hallucinations that they were giving birth to like a demon or like a monster. And apparently it was never that. It was just because they weren't taking like these teas or these herbs or these seeds that the witches provided. So it was never that they were giving birth to like the devil or like a demon. But in the show that might be the case. I don't know, the show might take it there. It's clearly more on the demonic side. But I don't know, maybe towards the end we'll just find out that it was all a misunderstanding, and there was, just like how this was all a misunderstanding, that there was, because the Miss Preacher, she had to talk with Anna. Unlike the show had to talk with Dex's mom. First of all, Dex is annoying and is such a horrible, horrible husband. I don't know how Anna could be with him. Like, he is literally annoying. Someone that doesn't believe you about something like the first time is already a red flag. And the fact that she keeps having things that happen to her that he does not believe is like, she should have left him already by now. Like, I don't care if you're having a kid with him. Like, this is just ridiculous, girl. But Dex, in the book, actually, he sees the nurse do the ultrasound, but in the show they made it seem like Anna's more crazy than she like actually is. And like the 2 weeks going by without her even realizing it was so crazy. Not in the book, like I said. But she does eat the raccoon in the book as well, which was so disgusting, and it's just like so weird. And then the thing with the photo too is that Meg was in the photo in the book, but the way Anna's character, and the way Anna finds out is like in the book the picture is like folded and she didn't realize it till like later, and then in the show it's like Meg like appears and then like she disappears from the photo, which was very weird. Once again, like, they're trying to make Anna seem even more crazier on the show than she is already crazy in the book, from the hallucinations and all that. So all those, Talia's character also was very briefly mentioned in episode 1, and we barely get to see her. She's like kind of important in the book a lot. And then we find out in the book that Dex dies in the car accident, and I don't know if it was like Anna's consciousness biting off like Dex's finger or whatever, but like that was a little confusing while I was reading it. I was a little confused reading that. But he apparently dies from the car accident. Shaban dies from the car accident too, and then Anna gives birth to a beautiful, healthy baby girl and not a demon baby with claws, like we are shown in the book, kind of, and also in the show in that one episode. I think it was episode 4. But basically it ends up becoming a, I'm like all over the place. I am so sorry. The cult is basically a coven of witches who are, I guess, in league with these doctors to get candidates that are very, very desperate for either like pain relief or very desperate to have a child. So Anna was like the next one that was in line. It was supposed to be Talia. Talia was pregnant in the thing, but unfortunately Anna miscarried, and then they like ended up being focused on her, whatever. It was like I'm getting so confused right now with the book and the show, sorry, but basically the spell that Shaban did was bring the baby back from the dead. I forgot to mention that. Shaban brought the baby back from the dead. Anna actually did miscarry, and in the book it's mentioned also that she probably had a vanishing twin. But I don't know, like this is like so weird. So I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. I'm like so going crazy. The show made me feel like I was going crazy. The show made me feel like I was going crazy, and I'm sure you guys felt the same way. I felt like I was going nuts. Just because of like how everything's portrayed and like shown to the audience. It's just like so crazy. What else? What else do I say? What else do I have to say? I don't know, that basically they brought the baby back from the dead, and that took so much energy. They needed the, we thought that they needed the babies for ritual, for like the satanic cult rituals and all that stuff. Apparently the book, that was not it. They were just helping you with the pain and helping you with the, I guess, miscarriages if you were to have one. I don't know what else to say. The thing of her bleeding out of her mouth all the time was never in the book. If it was probably mentioned like once. What else is in the show that's not in the book? So Dex was cheating with Cora, which is a receptionist at the clinic, and Dr. Hill was helping the witches, and Dr. Hill has been on this for a while, in ties with like the witches. Let's see what else happened. Sonia's character has nothing to do. So yeah, that whole scene where she saw Sonia cheating with her husband Dex, that never happened obviously because that character was non-existent in the book. But Dex ended up being horrible too in the book. Like he's just very like annoying. It's just like such an annoying character, and he's even more annoying in the show, which is unfortunate. The whole thing with him and his mom in the show, like suing the dad or whatever, going to court, that is not at all in the book at all. That is just like filler for the show. And then the mom talking with Miss Preacher was not in the book at all. Obviously it was only for the show. I think they're trying to make the show be more of a satanic cult thing, maybe, as it being the reason, and then instead of like how the book did it. And then Anna believes that she's giving birth to a baby spider in the beginning of the book, but that's like not mentioned again. I don't know what else to say. Check out the book. I really liked it.